If you're waiting to 65 to retire, you may be making a huge mistake. So in this video today, we're going to be covering the 6 reasons why waiting is a huge mistake for your future. We'll get right into this, but also be sure to stay until the end because we save some of the best stuff for last in these like we usually do. So let's get right into it. We don't know what the future has in store for us. So back in 2008, my father passed away in a car accident. It was a very sudden car accident. And he was only 65 years of age. And Dad had made a lot of plans for the future and things he wanted to accomplish, things he wanted to do, but he never got to live out those plans because his life was cut short. So we don't know how much time we have in store for us. We don't know how much time we have after 65 we're going to live, and we don't know how many healthy years we're going to have. A lot of times we may live a long time, but we don't know how many healthy years we're going to have that we're going to be able to enjoy and do the things that we planned on doing. And so there's some studies that were done through the World Health Organization that shows what the average life expectancies are around the world. And right here it shows some of these, and the average life expectancy around the world is about 73.5 years. You can see that Hong Kong and Japan are the best. Their life expectancies are both over 85 years. In Switzerland and French Polynesia and South Korea, they're well over 84 years. But we can also look at how many healthy years we have. And after age 60, there's also been some studies done by the World Health Organization. And this shows that on average, in some countries, they have 20 years of healthy living after age 60. In some countries, it's more like 15 years of healthy living after age 60. So again, in Hong Kong and Singapore, you have the longest periods, and I think Japan's up there too. You have some of the longest periods where people are living healthy after age 60. There's 20 plus years of healthy living after that time. In the U.S. is toward the bottom end of this range. There's only about 15 years of healthy living. So a lot of times people say that after age 60, we only have about 1,000 weeks of healthy living ahead of us. In the U.S., it's not even that much. So if we're retiring at 60 in the U.S., on average, we're going to live to about 75 before we start having health problems, and we might not be able to do as much. And so we want to keep that in mind. Maybe consider enjoying things a little bit more while you are living and before you retire. Consider doing more things before you retire because no one knows how many healthy years we have ahead of us. And the thing is, the stress eats away at us, and we don't know how much stress we're really in. It's kind of like the frog that's in the pot of boiling water. You put the frog in the water, and at first it isn't boiling, and the frog gets a little comfy in there, and then it gets hotter and hotter, and the frog doesn't mind it that much. And before long, the water is boiling. The frog doesn't notice because he's become accustomed to it. And a lot of times, we in the U.S. become accustomed to stress. We're working at jobs that are very stressful. They're much more stressful than we realize, and we don't know what damage it's doing to our health. And so over time, it may be good to look at ways we can reduce that stress and maybe not do as many things that are quite as stressful, maybe take more time off to recharge our batteries. It's amazing what can happen when you just take time off to recharge your batteries. And as we grow older, it takes a little bit longer to recharge our batteries. It may be that it used to be you could take a weekend and be good, then it becomes a week, then it becomes 2 weeks. And as we get older, hopefully we've got people around us that allow us to take more time off and enjoy life. And eventually we'll be able to retire and enjoy life even more so as we transition into that next chapter and find those things that really inspire us and the things we've been waiting to do. Hopefully we haven't waited that long to do it and we've been able to enjoy things beforehand. But one other thing that we want to keep in mind is that we can always acquire more money, but we can't acquire more time. A lot of us, if we retire early, we can choose to go back to work. A lot of times people are called by these companies and they call them in to be consultants and they pay them more than they ever thought they'd ever make while they were working. People find other things that are really exciting to them that they do in retirement, but we can't buy back that time. Warren Buffett, he was speaking before a group, I think it was at Columbia University, and the students were asking him what at his age, what would he do different, or what would he buy for himself? He can buy just about anything, but what would he do to buy for himself? And he told the student body he would trade all of his wealth for their youth, because you can't get that time back. But the other thing to keep in mind is more wealth may not translate into a better life. There's a lot of the simple things in life that matter a lot more than wealth and riches. And a lot of times people acquire toys, people acquire boats, they acquire more cars. One more car in the garage probably doesn't add that much to your happiness. People pursue things in life. They pursue extra houses, they pursue a second and third house, they pursue more toys, they pursue all these different things, and it doesn't really do as much. It may add some debt to their life, may add some more stress through the debt. They have to have more people to help take care of these things. Sometimes when you have boats, you have people that have to take care of the boats. You have people that have to take care of the pools when you get a pool. You have people to take care of a bigger yard when you get a bigger yard. It's more things to take care of, more people to have to manage, more stress in your life. And so sometimes this lifestyle creeps in, and it just adds more stress, and paring things back and having a more simple life could actually mean a better life for a lot of people. Simple is many times really good. So another thing we want to consider is that relationships are much more valuable than riches. So this makes me think, I heard this story not too long ago about this family office manager. He was managing an office for this one really wealthy family. And this family office manager wasn't doing a super great job. And he had found out that he was probably going to be getting fired. And he was getting on up in years. And he realized that this is all he'd ever done for a long, long time. He wasn't very good with his hands. He didn't have a whole lot of skills other than managing things for this one wealthy family. And so what this guy did was he went around to a lot of the people that were suppliers for the family office manager, a lot of the people that owed money to the wealthy individual, and he started going around and forgiving good chunks of their debt. And these people owed his boss a good bit of money, and he was forgiving the debt. And what was interesting was that his boss found out. They actually commended this family office manager. Now, some of you may realize that I'm actually referring to a parable that's in the book of Luke in the Bible that's referring to the unjust steward. It's talking about how he forgave the debts of all these people, and the master came back and commended him, saying that he was shrewd and he had done things that a lot of other people didn't think about to value the relationships. And what we want to keep in mind is that the master valued the relationships with these people that owed him money. He valued the relationships more than he valued the money, more than he valued riches, more than he valued anything else. And so if the master and Jesus Christ value these relationships more than anything else, what does that mean for us? We know through the Bible that Jesus considered the first and most important commandment was to love your Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. And the second commandment was to love your neighbor as yourself. And Jesus, second only to God, he valued the relationships he had with his disciples and his followers and everyone around him. And if we're to model ourselves after him, we're going to want to put these relationships much higher than riches or things or what have you. The relationships are what really matter. So the next thing we want to look at is your bucket list is something that you want to look at accomplishing way before you get too old to be able to accomplish it. So we don't know how long we have. We don't know how healthy we're going to be. And it may be that we retire and we have plenty of time on our hands, but we don't have the health to be able to do the things that we always wanted to do. It may be that we want to be diving in some of the best places to dive around the world. It may be that we want to go skiing in lots of different ski resorts. It may be that we want to play a lot of golf courses. It may be that we want to travel a lot and see lots of different things. But if we don't have our health, we're not going to be able to do a lot of these things. So we want to take advantage of the good health that we have while we still have it and while we're still young. So we want to look at living life today and checking off some of those things on our bucket list before we lose our health And so if we wait to retire till for too long, we could lose the opportunity to do a lot of these things. The number 6 thing, which I think is very important, is that we want to make sure that we have fun, and we want to define our own version of fun. And a lot of people consider fun, as we talked about, pursuing material things, a materialistic type of fun. Of course, Sigmund Freud talked about happiness being defined by pleasure. And so some people define fun by hedonistic types of things. I think that Solomon, the wisest man who ever lived, defined fun by pursuing things of a spiritual nature. He said that everything else was meaningless. And so we want to define our fun and pursue things of a spiritual nature that are really meaningful. Of course, Viktor Frankl, in his book, Man's Search for Meaning, defined fun by fulfillment, or defined his happiness by fulfillment. And so when we're looking at what we want to be doing with the next chapter of our life, what is it that's going to be fulfilling? What is it that we're going to be doing to define our fun in pursuing God's purpose for us? If we're pursuing God's purpose, things are definitely going to be more meaningful. What is it that God has in store for us? It may be that we want to search ourselves, search what we're doing. It may be that God has us right where He wants us. A lot of times that is the case. God already has us placed in the place where we can make the biggest difference. He's given us skills, and we already know what our skills are. We already know what our unique abilities are, and we're already in a place to be able to use those. We just have to choose to focus on those things and pursue God's purpose for our lives in the next chapter of our lives. As always, stay thirsty for knowledge. We'll catch up with you next time.